oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. Really hasn't been. I don't know why. I decided I wanted to do a half Ironman. I know that three pillars in my world are I have to take care of myself. So deeply believe that what I put out into the universe is going to come right back at me. This is a lifestyle. Okay, how am I going to make this work when...
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan Podcast. Today, we have another special episode, another Fit Vegan success story with one of our Fit Vegan superstars. All right. Welcome to the Fit Vegan Podcast. I'm your show host, Maxime Sigouin, and I'm the founder and CEO of Fit Vegan Coaching, a company that is on a mission to help 10,000 people get lean, thrive, and reduce their risk of chronic illnesses by 2033 and 1 million by 2050. I believe that having a fit, healthy body and mind is the foundation to living an incredible life, and this is what the show will give you if you choose to listen and implement. Enjoy the episode and have a great day. Laurie or Lexa. Laurie, how are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing amazing, thank you. Where are you calling in from today?
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Beautiful. I'm going to be in Michigan in next weekend.
Where?
Rochester.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What are you doing there?
Well, I'm going to go do a little video shoot with Dr. Dan, who was one of our clients that we helped transform a while back.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So I might have a chance to connect. I'm only going to be there for like a day and a half. I'm going to be flying in and out, but we'll see if we can do a dinner or something. I'll message on the app after.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And, for the people listening, Laurie's in the program. She's still in the program. From your highest point, you went from 113 to 105 at your lowest point, which ultimately represented an 8-pound fat loss, which was the goal that we had when you came in. I know we just came back from vacation, so we got maybe a few pounds to lose off of that little weight. But at the end of the day, you've still had an incredible transformation so far. I look at your photos before we recorded. I was like, Laurie has some little baby abs starting to stick out from your side shot. And if you're cool with it, if you mind me sharing your age?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm 63.
63 years young, got some baby abs, looking stronger. And you, when I asked you to do the podcast, you shared with me an accomplishment you just did, because you just came back from Alaska.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best day we climbed what they call Mount Marathon, and they do a marathon. It's not mileage, a marathon. It was a couple of guys at the bar drinking beer that said, hey, I bet I could beat you to the top of that mountain. And so they run up it. So that's what we did. But we took the cheater way. We didn't go straight up, but we went farther because we kind of went around the side. But it was pretty challenging. It wasn't a real high elevation. It was, I don't know, just under 4,000. But it was the train you had to get through to get there. And my friend and I that went with me, she's 61, and we were the first women to get up there. And we were pretty close to the oldest women in the group. So, yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That's some fit vegan stuff right there.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. So, just for the people listening, I always like to give a little bit of a background to the person to one of our members. And so do you mind kind of sharing where you were at before joining the program and what made you want to make that decision to ultimately invest in yourself and to, monitor your nutrition and start exercising in a different way?
Sure. So I, like probably everybody on your podcast, I ate the standard American diet most of my life. Both of my kids were very active in mostly ice hockey, travel hockey. So spent a lot of weekends on the road eating, bad food at restaurants, and really didn't think a whole lot about my diet at all. I would say from about 30 on, I've always been a very regular 5 to 7 day a week workout, strength training as well as running. So exercise is all a part of it, but diet, not at all. So I'm going to say, and I was trying to think, as I was thinking about this, when I started to think about my diet more, it's probably been about 10 years ago. And I kind of quit eating meat first, most of the time, not all the time, but mainly because I knew you should probably eat better quality meat, and I didn't feel like paying for it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why don't I just not eat it? I don't love it that much. It really didn't bother me that much, but I never thought about what I'd eat instead. I just didn't eat meat. And then I went, probably about 8 years ago, I went and had some food sensitivity done, and dairy across the board was something that I was sensitive to. And at the time, I think it was actually my gynecologist that was doing some more functional kind of things and recommended it. And the idea was you eliminate the things that you're sensitive to and then eventually bring them back in. But because, and the funny thing is, meat, I wasn't sensitive to anything. I could eat all the meat, but I still
Yeah.
didn't go back to eating the meat. But because dairy was every dairy, I thought, well, I'm not ever going back to that. That just doesn't make sense. So I kind of cut the dairy out pretty easily, except for ice cream's a weakness. But if I have it, I do, like at home, I only buy dairy free. And I'm now finding more stores that have dairy free. But, I love pizza was a staple. And that day when I got that test, I've never eaten pizza since then. And,
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard. Really hasn't been. I just asked my friends, I'll go anywhere with you. Let's just not go to a pizza parlor. And and I'm finding there's certain places that are now doing a little bit better job of doing some vegan pizzas. Or I know you're a Plant Strong guy. I buy his Plant Strong crusts and then just Google recipes, like some of the cashew sauces you can put on them. Man, it's amazing. And I found the easiest way, because Mexican was the other thing. I kind of like Mexican food, but as long as you have salsa and you have guacamole, you don't need cheese. You just need something gooey to hold all the stuff together. So those were the things. But yeah, so then I just kind of slowly went that way, cut dairy out, would have meat here and there, not a lot. And then I think I just started listening to more podcasts like yours, like Rich Roll, like Plant Strong, and just learning more and more, not just my health, but the environment and the animal humanity
Yeah.
part of it. That just really solidified for me that, you know what, I need to I need to do this. And so I've been doing, I like to say plant-based more than vegan, for a variety of reasons. But I'd say I'm pretty plant-based, but not necessarily whole food. And that was the
Yeah.
place that I wanted to get to. And the other part about my body, obviously I've gone through menopause. I just, although I can't say that even before menopause, I didn't really see a huge change after menopause. I've never really had a lot of luck getting that middle gut stuff. That's always been my
Yeah.
issue. So I really did it. The weight loss, I needed 5 to 8 pounds, but it was really the body composition that drew me to your program. Give me a meal plan. And the other funny thing is the strength training, consistent 3 days a week since I was 30 until I turned, I think I was 55 when I retired from, I was a special ed teacher. And I don't know why, I decided I wanted to do a half Ironman. I don't even know where that came from. And
Yeah.
believe
Just
it or
kicks in
not,
at one point.
yeah, I had 11 friends that said, yeah, let's do it. So when I started training for a half Ironman, I didn't have time in my life to also strength train in my
Yeah.
mind. So the strength training kind of fell apart. It's been real hit or miss. So I really wanted, and I recently was diagnosed with osteoporosis. So I found it out running one day. I suffered 3 stress fractures in my whole pelvis area.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, there's no, and I'm not doing half Ironmans now anyway. So I have time to do the strength training. So it was that the body composition and needing to get back to strength training that drew me to Fit Vegan.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful. Yeah, I feel like the kick to do a half Ironman will just kind of randomly come in at a time in your life where you're like, you know what, it sounded crazy for a long time, but now it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
And you
I
can,
did three of
yeah,
them. Yeah, I did three of them and loved them. But then my other issue is I'm a caregiver to my son who suffered a brain injury and he requires 24/7 care. So he requires nurses, but about 48 hours a week, we don't have a nurse, so it's me. Or
hmm,
anytime a nurse goes on vacation or is sick. So I can't really go off too often and do races anymore. And I definitely don't have that 6, 7 hours on a Sunday to go do a long bike ride. It's really the bike ride that killed my
yeah,
ability to train for that anymore. So yeah, but it's
yeah,
it's all good.
yeah. And now you train more, it's more effective. Would you say that you've gained more time through kind of just having an optimized nutrition and optimized training plan?
Oh yeah, yeah. And again, not having to do that long bike ride. I still swim. I love open water swimming. So this time of year is great. There's lots of lakes where I live that are small, safe ones to swim in. So I still do that. I get out on my bike a little, but my running is very consistent. I've always been a 3 day a week runner. Maybe four. I've done two marathons. Um, and then I maybe added a fourth day, but I've never run more than that. So yeah, it's really nice to Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my strength train, Tuesday, Thursday, and then either Saturday or Sunday is my run days, and um, I try to throw swims in there, and so yeah, it works out good.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So, being a caregiver, how do you balance, taking care of yourself and kind of being a caregiver and that whole dance that comes with it? Because, when I was a caregiver, I was training for half Ironman because that
Yeah,
was my alcohol. Like I just needed to
right.
numb myself doing something. So like, yeah, how do you balance that?
Well, it's hard. It's really hard because I'm also managing my dad, who's healthy, but once my mom died, couldn't figure out the financial pieces. I'd take care of that and all of his doctor's appointments. I'd moved him closer to me. Um, so I have that piece as well. But my big thing is I have to I have to take care of myself because I don't know what's going to happen when something happens to me. I don't have that solid piece left. His dad's a little involved, but very little. And so, if something happens to me, I don't know. So I have to be fit. I have to be healthy. I have to be
Yeah.
strong. So I just have to. And, you know, I know the three pillars in my world are your nutrition, your exercise, and sleep. And the sleep one is the tough one for me because most of my care for him are the nights. And
Mm,
so I can, like, he has a couch in his bedroom and I can lay down and sleep, but I usually get about 4 hours of sleep, but that's in like 5 or 6 chunks. So I lay down for an
yeah.
hour, I get up into his care, I lay back down for 45 minutes, I get up into his care. But the next day, if our day is full and I can either take a 2 hour nap or run, I'm going to run.
Yeah.
And that's just how, like, I have to do that. That running is way more, and the strength training now. That's
Yeah.
that's way more self-care for me than sleep is. And I know that's not good, but the other 4 nights of the week I get to sleep and I do prioritize sleep on those nights. So
Yeah. And there's no need to justify, because people that have never been in a caregiver
Mhm.
position cannot understand. Like, man, I used to wake up screams middle of the night, rushing to
Mhm.
hospital, your sleep's all out of whack. And I, on a personal level, understand why that 2 hour run, why that swim workout is just it's a moment where it's such a linear and repetitive motion that you can literally just shut off your brain,
Yeah,
because you don't have to think of all the responsibilities that you have, of everything that's going on. You're just outside taking the fresh air, brain
yeah,
turns off, and you just kind of cruise, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
And being
So,
outside is a big deal. Like,
yeah, for sure.
yeah, I I've thought about dragging my weights outside and do my workouts outside, and it's kind of a pain. It would be easier just to do it inside, which I usually do, but I've thought
Yeah,
about it.
open a window. Open a
Yes.
window.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, again, it's for the. I know that a lot of the people that we work with, and you've probably heard this in previous episodes, tend to be more in a caregiver role, caregiver position. And I love what you said about, you have to take care of yourself, because a lot of the time the caregiver doesn't have a caregiver. Like, they are the person that everyone runs to when they need something, and that person is there trying to fill everyone's cup, and then trying to manage filling a little bit of their own cup so that they have something to pour into others. And so, besides the running and the sleeping, and obviously now kind of modifying your nutrition with the program, like, what are ways that you have found to fill your cup? And I'll add a nuance to that, without feeling guilty, because I know it's a hard thing to do when you're a
Yeah.
caregiver, to do something for yourself and not feel guilty.
Well, my morning routine, I have a morning routine that I'm pretty strict about. And, again, I might have to, usually I have to get up between 5:30 and 6 to get it done in time. But it's um, meditation, which I still haven't. It's ridiculous. I've meditated every day for probably 2 years, and I still don't think I meditate. It's almost like a sitting up nap or something. I can't, but I at least I keep telling myself at least it's 15 minutes, because that's about all I do most of the time. 15
Yeah.
minutes where I'm sitting and I'm not doing anything else. So meditation, I journal. I've journaled twice a day for, I started before my son's accident. His accident was 21 years ago. So I'm going to
Yeah.
say 23 or 24 years where I do a gratitude journal, morning and afternoon, what I'm grateful for. And, what are the three things that would be, make my day great, a daily affirmation, and then at night, what three things happened that I was grateful for, and what did I learn during the day. So those two things are key. Um, I'm in a little text group with some family members and some of my really good friends that are all around the country, and we do Wordle and Connection, and then everybody texts each other their results. And it's really not about the Wordle or the Connection, although I will say, have you ever done Wordle?
No, I never tried.
Okay, so they give you a five-letter word, and you have six tries to figure out what the word is, and you just start with whatever word you want, and they tell you if the letters are correct. And but what I'm finding is, because the other thing I'm paranoid of is Alzheimer's. One of my very best friends, younger than me, is quite advanced with Alzheimer's. Another person I'm
Yeah.
helping to her husband with her care. But this Wordle game is one of those games where I don't have a real, I've never thought I had a real vast vocabulary, but this just helps you to think about words in a different way. And then the other connections game, it's like 16 words, and you have to figure out how they fit together. There's four different categories. And so those two games I feel like are just helping me with that brain stuff. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. And then really just connection with people. Um, I've got a fairly small group, but a strong group of friends that um, I just make sure that I at least once a week I'm connecting with them, trying to get together with the ones that are closer. And um, I think
Yeah.
those are really the meditation, the journaling, and connection with people.
Yeah. That's very beautiful. You're a very strong woman and very impressive. As you're kind of sharing your stories and everyone you're taking care of and you're taking care of yourself, like if you're on YouTube, you can tell that my eyes have been getting red for the past 5 minutes. Like it just makes me tear up because it makes me grateful that we get to work with you and that we get to help you in what you're doing and that you're having such impact on other people's lives.
It's funny when I was in Alaska, the last day I was with a group, Global Adventures. They do vacation races, and so that's who I went to Alaska
Nice.
with. And at the end, the last night at the dinner, they gave out some awards. My friend that went with me, unfortunately, she got the best trail tat because she fell 5 minutes into our first run and ended up with
Oh,
5 stitches. So
wow.
I was given an award for, I think they said I was the most immersed person because I literally cried most of the time I was there. I mean, the beauty and the fact that I could be there, because honestly, a lot of the people there, oh yeah, I've been in New Zealand and Croatia and here and there, and I'm signed up for this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so freaking happy to be here on this one trip. And I will probably not do another trip like that. I'm thinking maybe in 5 years when my daughter turns 40, I'd love to do one with her. But I was
Yeah.
just so filled. I mean, the beauty there, number one, but just the gratitude that I could be there, that I had enough nurses that pulled together. And then his dad was willing to take him 2 different weekends, even though he had all nurses, but at least I have one nurse that can only work at his house because I won't let her in my house anymore for some
Okay.
reasons. But she takes good care of Dan. We can't work with her. So just everything that everyone came together so that I could have that opportunity. And I think because I cried to like every one of the 8 crew members, they're like, wow, this lady is really, really grateful.
Present.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I do so deeply believe that what I put out into the universe is going to come right back at me. And so I just always try to really always think the very best of others. And the other thing is, for a long time, I'm going to say right around, because my son's injury, we don't really know what happened, but most likely it was an assault. I left him in my car while I ran in the library. And when I came out, he was found with the seatbelt wrapped around his neck. He was hanging outside the car. And I think
Oh,
somebody
wow.
steal the car. But since that time, like I had people are like, oh, and nobody ever saw anything. There was no reason to believe that, but we know that it wasn't accidental. And we know
Yeah.
he didn't, like the insurance company tried to prove that he tried to commit suicide. Well, he was a happy go lucky little 11-year-old kid. So, but like I have never had anger, nor have I, like I forgave whoever did this because they didn't have the opportunity to grow up like I did. Because nobody that grew up loved like I did could do that to another human being. And so I
Yeah.
have nothing but, when you hear about these school shootings, oh my gosh, that poor shooter. Like how like how do you get to that point? And so I have a lot
Yeah.
of empathy for other people, and we're all from one source, whatever you want to call it, universe. I tend to believe in God in in certain
Yeah.
ways, but we're all one. We're all from the same source. So what I do to you, I'm doing to myself. And so I really try to live my life that way as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a beautiful philosophy of how to move through life and kind
Hmm.
of handle hardship.
Yeah.
And there's a question I wanted to ask you, and now it kind of sounds superficial, but I did want to ask you that question because I want to change the the tone a little bit, but through people's transformation, everyone goes through challenges, right? No one has a perfect journey. No one is just crushing it all the time. And so knowing that you have this outlook on life, I'm curious as to how you handled those speed bumps while you were going through your transformation.
I I guess I'm speed bumps meaning like
Like,
times when I have to get off track.
yeah, exactly. If you're not traffic nutrition or miss some
Yes.
workouts or life happen and you have to move stuff
Yeah.
around.
Sarah, Coach Sarah is amazing in her realistic, like like when I was getting ready to go to Alaska and I said food's completely out of my control because they provide all the food. I told them that I didn't do meat and dairy and they did a wonderful job. I don't think I had to veer from, wasn't always the healthiest, but it wasn't terrible by any means. It was all the
Yeah.
snacks that I had control of that I ate. I can't blame them. But she was like, she even, and I said, I'm going to try really hard to do my strength workouts. Turned out I never could have. We were on a bus at 7 in the morning. We didn't get back till 9 at night. Um,
Yeah.
but she said, I'm taking those workouts right out of your phone. Like they will not be there. You're not going to do those. You're going on vacation. You're going to have, you're going to have the beer, which I did. Um, and, she said, and then you'll get back. And I did. I got back Sunday and I haven't missed a workout. I got right back on the meal plan. Luckily, my son was gone on Sunday. We flew in like at 6 in the morning, and he didn't come home till about 6 at night. So I got home, unpacked, went to the grocery store, did my meal prep. Um, and it was easy to do that because I was given permission to go have a vacation. And
Yeah.
so that's what you guys are so realistic with. This is life. Like this isn't all right. I signed up for the year. But some people sign up, I'm going to do it for 3 months and then I'll go back to life. That
Mm.
this is a lifestyle. This is, I think every day about, okay, how am I going to make this work when I don't have Sarah telling me what to eat? Because I love the meal plan. And I don't always stick to it exactly. Actually, it's almost way too much food. Like I sometimes it says 2 meals and I make it is 3 or 4 for me. Um, but yeah, without them, it's so nice to have that. So I'm probably just gonna have to keep a lot of the recipes and just redo things. And I'm not one that like I used to before I started the program. My meals were a salad with probably a can of beans on it and some nuts and seeds. So, I'm
Yeah.
learning to incorporate tempeh and tofu. And I always liked those. I just needed to figure out how to cook them a little differently and how to incorporate them into things. So, really I think I'm dealing with the speed bumps because of the this is a lifestyle. This isn't a 6-week program that you follow to the T and then you go on with your life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons we structured it that way is because, you know, I just, and also for the people listening, like if we think about your story of you being a caregiver and helping all those people and being there for everyone, and it's going to be your only vacation for 5 years. Shit, have the beer.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself, right? Like this is your only vacation for a while. Like make the most out of it. And
Yeah.
so there's a balance between like I want to get results as fast as possible, but like take the time to enjoy the process, right? You going to Alaska and having a great time. I think you went up like a pound or two. Like it's nothing, right? You had a
Right.
great time. You were present. You enjoyed yourself. You come back, it's going to be off in a week or two, and it's done.
Right.
All right, we're
Right.
back to where we were before. So it's not a big deal, but yeah, definitely taking the time to enjoy the process. Like it just makes it so much more enjoyable, and actually, like you mentioned, turns it into a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Um, I'm curious, what are some of your favorite dishes that you've had so far that you like to make that are kind of like a staple now in the household?
I think tofu is probably my favorite protein. Honestly, when I leave this program, I'll probably just eat Buddha bowls. Like I
Yeah.
love rice. I love quinoa. I love just all the vegetables. I love the tofu in that smoky liquid smoke tamari, nutritional yeast, to cook it that way. I'm
Yeah.
debating getting a air fryer because I don't have,
That's
and I
it's a good
only for
purchase.
only for tofu. Is it worth it?
Oh yeah, it is. Again, it takes up the one we have takes up so much space on the counter, but we use it every single day, several times a day. There's not
Oh,
a day that goes. The only time we don't use it is when I'm on vacation traveling somewhere because I don't have it with me. But we use it every day for tofu, for tempeh. We'll roast some chickpeas in there with some spices, or roast some potatoes that we don't have to use any oil or anything. And it's just, set it, put the timer, forget it, go do something else.
can you? Because it's just me. Could I buy? They have like little ones. Could I
Oh
buy them?
yeah,
Okay, because
yeah,
I'm
yeah, for
thinking.
sure. They have some little ones. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And the chickpeas, I'd love that because I've tried roasting them in the oven. They come out like BBs.
yeah,
Haven't been able to get them where they're not rock hard. So, because I
yeah.
love
No, they're
chickpeas too. Like today for lunch, it was a um, smashed chickpea wrap with
yeah.
some parsley and yeah, and Dijon mustard. I love that. But yeah, Buddha bowls and just throwing all that part of the problem is they become huge because I try to put just a little bit, but there's like 15 different things I put in it, and then it's like that big. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, volume and too much food is a good problem when we're trying to
right,
improve our body composition, right? Most
right.
people are hungry, right? So
Oh,
it
yeah,
is genuinely our number one complaint, and it's the funniest thing that it's the number one complaint. It's like it's too much food. I can't eat all of
right,
it. I'm like,
right,
if you ever you thought you would say that trying to lose weight, right? It's a good problem
right.
to have. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm curious from the strength training side if you've noticed a difference because you were pretty consistent with resistance training in the past, and you mentioned kind of had like your little Ironman phase, and then it was inconsistent. Did you notice a difference getting back into it in terms of like bone density, strength, overall tone of the muscle?
I feel like toning wise that I've definitely seen more success since I've joined you guys because this is the first time I've always just gone to the gym and done some biceps and triceps and, legs and tried to think of, oh, what body part should I hit now? So it's been 3 days a week, but it's been just willy nilly kind of stuff. So I think the consistency and really targeting specific muscles every time. I
Yeah.
feel like I toned up quicker. I feel like my arms look more toned. I guess my lats and back, I feel like that's toning up quicker.
Yeah.
Um,
Your stomach too.
yeah, yeah. I still have more there than I wish I had, but I think that's a pretty darn common woman
Yeah.
problem. And I think the amount of stress in my life, stress and lack of sleep, I think I really am going to fight really getting rid of that body fat because of those two things. But
Well, you're only a few months into the program, right? Like
yeah,
we
yeah,
have time to
yeah,
continue to push and improve your body composition. You're still in a great spot to continue to lose weight.
yeah,
Um, yeah, no, again, it takes time to build muscle, but again, you're transforming at a great rate. And like you mentioned, this is a lifestyle piece. We all know that kind of as you get older, the body has maybe a little bit more resistance to kind of losing the weight. Well, one thing for the workout is you mentioned kind of going in the gym, doing some arms, doing some triceps, maybe doing some legs, and thinking of exercises. And now you notice a difference of going in with a structure and a plan that is built
hmm,
upon each other to get you fitter, gets you results so much faster. And I
yeah.
just interviewed another fit vegan client yesterday, 63 as well, and another great transformation. And she mentioned she called herself a wanderer when she went in the gym. She just wandered between machines and been like, I think this one, I should do this one today. I think I should do this one today. I feel like a lot of people identify with that wandering. He's like, this machine is free. I'll just jump on this one.
Yeah. And I don't do the machines because I'm too short. Like I'm 4'11". Those machines are not built for 4'11" people. So
Hey,
I
I'm
always,
on the opposite. They don't fit me for 6'4",
oh,
so we need someone in the middle.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I've almost always done free weights and, I'm doing some bands now, which is kind of nice. Um,
Yeah,
I also, when I started, I have had a shoulder problem for a long time. I think a combination of, I worked with kids in wheelchairs for 33 years and picking them up and down and doing it the way I
yeah,
shouldn't because my aides weren't in the classroom. And then when I started taking care of my son more, trying to reach across the hospital bed to get him turned and that kind of thing, my shoulder was just tore up. And then I started playing pickleball, and that's when I really noticed it. But what I discovered just last night when I was working out was, oh my gosh, my shoulder is so much better. And I went to some PT, and most of what she was giving me was strength exercises for, to strengthen all the just all the muscles around there. And I have
yeah,
seen huge improvement in that. So that's really good.
yeah. That's beautiful. I love to ask you for some pieces of advice on behalf of the listeners. So many of the listeners are current members, just like you, people that are considering maybe doing a transformation with us or just doing a transformation on their own. What do you feel that has been the key to success for you to make such great progress as to where you're at in your transformation now? And most importantly, that kept you going, because that's a lot of people have a lot of starting power, but they don't have a lot of staying power.
Well, part of that is just my personality. Like when I say I'm going to do something, I'm all in. And if I have a coach that tells me this is what you're going to do, I'm going to do it. Like I don't care what's happening. I'm going to do what's on that plan. So part of
Yeah,
it is that's just how I am. I think having and the structure of like the workouts in the app are so wonderful. Like cuz I do worry about cuz I work out at home mostly. I rarely go to the gym just cuz I don't have the time to get there
yeah,
and get back. I'm a Y member and I do go to swim. I take my son there. So sometimes I'll go a little early, but more often than not, I'm in my basement. And I do worry, am I doing this properly? But you guys, your videos are like, it's almost, how could you? And I don't have anyone watching me, but what I do is I watch my shadow and make sure that my shoulders are aligned or try to really look at, you showed that 90 degree and am I getting that 90 degree? So the workouts, the format in the app are amazing. Like I've never done because I do love Nike Training Club, their free app, but it's not nearly as good. And they're again just it's not a guided like today is a push
yeah,
day with your upper body. Today is a pull with your upper body. So I think that just the structure of your app is great. The meal plans are amazing to be able to follow. I mean, they have the shopping list. And, I don't, unfortunately, I should pay more attention to the, the amount of macros but I feel like I think the protein is really the only macro I care about because that's the piece I was really missing. I don't think I was getting crap for protein the way I was
yeah,
eating before, but a can of beans every once in a while. So
yeah,
but I think I know how much, what part of a chunk of tofu I need to have at a meal. I'm also using protein powder a little more. I used to do a lot of protein shakes. Um, got away from that because I like food. So I like
yeah,
the concept of putting the protein in my oatmeal. Like I don't want to drink my food all the time. I want to eat it. So putting that protein powder in my oatmeal because I love oatmeal. Like I could do that
Yeah.
through the day, if I could put vegetables in it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a combination of just your program is so easy to follow. Um, it's it's just really well laid out, and I'm a rule follower. So, you know,
Yeah.
I especially since I retired, I don't want to make any decisions more than what I have to do for Dan and my dad. You just tell me
Yeah.
what to eat, tell me what to do for my workout. Like I can't afford to do for the rest of my life, but I wish I could. I'm almost sure I'll be on again, off again, because I'm really gonna miss the consistency and just the program. And unfortunately, I don't ever get to join any of the live groups, but Sarah showed me how to, how I could
Get the
put it on my
replays.
phone. So I listen to them. That's what I listen to when I do my workouts now is, um, I listen to the group calls. So yeah, just everything about the program is, I don't know how you could fail.
Hey, I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that. The
Yeah.
live group calls are, we have 4 a week, and we understand that, people live in different countries, different level of
Right.
obligation, a lot of things on their plate. So a lot of people just listen to it exactly when they work out. That's kind of when they catch
Right.
up on them,
Yeah.
because yeah, realistically, I was speaking to my mom, who's also still in the program, and she was telling me, she's like, it's hard to keep up with everything. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, there's 4 group calls a week. You also post 2 podcasts a week, plus 2 YouTube videos a week. And so it's like there's not enough days in a week to consume all the things you're creating. So I'm like,
Right.
just pick whatever you want. So
Right.
yeah, ultimately I know that there's a lot, but I always want to make sure that I'm over delivering on
Yes.
value. And so yeah, catching up when you can is great. But
Yeah.
I love what you said of you basically just ultimately you're basically saying you just trusted the program. You just did the work
Oh
that
yeah.
was supposed to be that you're supposed to be doing. A lot of people tell me, because I've been doing this for over 4 years, and again, 800 plus transformation at this point. So I've seen patterns amongst people. And there's people that come in, they're like, yeah, if you just tell me what to do, I'm a machine. I'm just going to do it. And then they come in and then they don't do it. And I'm like, well, you told me you were that type of person, right? So
Yeah.
people are in certain areas of their life, and other areas they're not, but they generalize it to all of them because it makes them feel good. So it's great
Right.
to see that, like, you are in this area, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people that we have on the podcast are people that are that way. They've learned
Yeah.
to trust, they've learned to follow, and then they get great results. But a lot of people want to make, not a lot of people, some people are like, no, I want to do my style of workout, my style of nutrition. And I'm like, why are you here?
Right.
Why'd you come in the program?
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. So, Laurie, love to ask you one last question. Um, I always leave the floor open for members at the end of a podcast. If there's anything that I haven't asked or something that you really want to share, this is kind of like your time to share that, because I can usually talk for 4 hours, but usually I lose people at the 45-minute mark. So,
Right.
so yeah, and anything else that you'd like to add for the show?
Not really. The only thing that I'm kind of looking forward to is, so I did the 12, I signed up for 12 months, and then you kind of get like an extra 3 month sort of deal. Am I explaining that right? Is that what is
Yeah,
Ivy, would she have been who I did like when I first just let me hear what your program's about?
yeah, it would have been Ivy or Daniel.
No, I think it was Ivy. So
Yeah,
she did amazing. Like the fact that I went, sign me up. Here's my, here's
yeah,
my money. Cause that's a huge chunk for me on my retiree. But like, I was like, oh man, this is exactly what I need. But I didn't really even pay a good attention to what I even signed up for. I just knew I did like the longest thing. But as I was telling Sarah about it, I thought that she had said something about, I could kind of train for some sort of an event at the end.
yeah.
And I had been thinking about doing Avenue of the Giants. It's a marathon in the redwoods of California. Actually, one of my
That's a
run
beautiful
buddies,
place.
that's been on her bucket list forever. And I finally said, well, let's just go do it then. Well, my last day with you guys is May 11th, and that race is May 4th. I'm like, oh, that was meant to be. So
That's
she was telling me
perfect.
that maybe she would shift me over to Nick.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to propose.
Okay.
So Nick is master's in kinesiology and sports performance. He's the one that trained me for all of my Ironmans and my triathlon. So anyone in the program that gets to the phase, basically post body recomposition,
Yeah.
they want to move into the fit vegan athlete phase. Once you're in there, basically, I pay for your race. I give you some cool gear to race in as well, and we'll prep you. We'll prep you for the race.
Wow. Well, I already paid for it. I signed up already. But I'll take your
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
we've
your
already
race,
got a little like a little cabin we're staying at, so yeah,
awesome.
pretty
Yeah,
excited.
Nick. Yeah, Sarah will still do your nutrition, but Nick will be
Good.
prepping you because that's his area of expertise. We
Okay.
want to make sure that, a lot of our members, again, just exact same position as you, eventually they just have the itch to kind of step into the endurance world. They don't want to try
Yeah.
something new. So we're very well equipped to prepare people for that.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful. Well, Laurie, a massive thank you for taking the time to record with me today. I really appreciate it. I didn't expect to be emotional when we started recording, but you have a
Neither did
beautiful
I. Sorry.
story. Yeah, that's all right. I'm a sensitive man. I don't look like it on online, but yeah, I shed a tear every day or so. There's always something like touches my heart. And yeah, for the people listening, thank you very much for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed it, you can let us know by liking the podcast, subscribing, doing all that fun stuff, depending on what platform you're on. If you do want to work with us, there's a link down below to book your application call, just like Laurie did. Spoke with Ivy, and I'll be speaking to Ivy or Alexander. It's kind of our onboarding team, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.